You're listening to
Sticky Note Conversations with Derrick Washington. Way below acceptable. Way below acceptable.
On this week's episode,
they had a bunch of white, middle-aged, rich writers in the room. And it's obvious because everything is told from a white, rich, gay guy's idea of the perspective of a white woman.
Way below acceptable.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sticky Note Conversations. I am your host, Erica Washington, and I am really, really, really excited about today's episode. We are going to probably pull back on the politics a little bit. You know, politics will show up because as you know, politics aren't everything. But I have been dying to talk about HBO and its new season of shows, specifically The Gilded Age and Just Like That. So I have with me my favorite guest, co-host, play cousin extraordinaire, Mr. Derrick Washington. And we're gonna give it to you straight. There will be spoilers. Like, so if you have not seen the season finale of The Gilded Age,
You're not gay or a black woman.
right, and by the time this airs, it'll have been almost a week. So we're recording this the day after the season finale. So if you haven't seen it, I suggest you go do that and then come back and listen. But otherwise, if you're a true fan, you've seen it. So in Just Like That, there will be one more episode, and I don't know that we'll have time to add to it for the series finale of And Just Like That. This is the end of an era for the Sex and the City compilation of the show, the movies, and Just Like That. So, but we're going to talk about it up until this final last episode. Anywho, let's get started. Happy summer.
Summer.
HBO has made it a good summer for television. And thank you to HBO or whatever they want to be
Max
called.
HBO Plus.
Max.
Ultra.
You know, it used to be
Roku.
my old remote says Now because it was HBO Now for a second. And I'm like, so I think HBO has a little bit of an identity problem. And that might be the reason why some of the shows don't
have an identity problem.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to start with it Just Like That. So for those of you who may not have ever seen it, which then this conversation would be moved.
We are not talking to them.
But Sex and the City.
The two straight guys who listen to your show.
And you'd be like, and what's that about?
I don't think we need to explain that.
Right. Okay, fine. So, and Just Like That was the reboot of Sex and the City. They were coming back as older women with, and we were going to learn about their lives with, you know, grown up or almost grown children, you know, years into their marriage, what's going on, what's life like. And from the very first season, people were dogging it out. Like they were just like, people were really excited, right? We were excited for this to come back because Sex and the City was a thing. And even though looking back on it now, there was a lot of problematic spaces within Sex and the City. You know, there was never any people of color for real on the show.
Until
in
they
a city
needed
like
Blair
New
Underwood
York.
to come in and be a stunt Negro to spice things up.
That is true. There was Blair Underwood. And then Sam dated that black dude in one episode, and his sister told her to step off because she ran that soul food restaurant. And she said, no white woman will be dating my brother. So then Sam was like, I'm down with the brother, whatever she said. It was all cringe. It was so cringe.
It was very much so.
Which shows that they never really had any black writers because that made no sense whatsoever. And, you know, even their help was not of color. You didn't even have a Latina. You didn't even have a Latina, you know, cleaning your house or a black lady, you know, babysitting or anything.
Whilst living in New York.
Right, Wallace living in New York. Y'all didn't pass him on the street. Like you
Yep.
just didn't have nobody, none at Miranda's law office
No.
or
And they never
anything.
did the little interstitials where they're like, yeah, I like blowjobs, but like they never did that. I'm a
Mhm.
finance guy, but yeah, they never did those.
That
The
was like
black
the
people never
first couple episodes
yeah,
they were doing that, I
when they
think.
were breaking the
So
wall.
yeah, and so now within Just Like That, I don't know if it's because they just felt pressured to be
Oh yeah.
intersectional in some way. And so, but instead of doing it in a way that made sense, they just threw a lot of stuff at you, right? Like Miranda, came to the conclusion that, she was gay and that she needed to leave Steve. And so then she was dating
The
Che.
worst character in television history. The worst character in I have been there for most of the
Everyone
history of
hated
television.
that character. And I like what's her name?
Che?
Ramirez.
Oh.
What her real name? The actress.
That character ruined her career. I
Because she
doubt
was
that
on Because she was on
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, I don't think
And-
she'll ever be on anything again because
But I don't think it was because of her character. I think that she actually came out as really pro-Palestine really early when everything was happening.
no,
and
Erica,
so
because
she
of
left.
her odious character. It was her character. Because
Her
no one
character-
cared.
Now the character did suck. Now did the character suck? It did. And there's a way to bring in non-binary people. There's a way to do that. But it wasn't just her. It was even, Miranda made a friend, Nyla or Naya, the
Naya
black
something.
lady. Yeah.
Just
And
black
then
enough.
she escaped early. And she
Right.
was like, I'm not coming back to this show because this show sucks. She had a husband and
A
they
whole
were,
character
he wanted
line.
a baby. Right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she just disappeared. Because I don't even think they explained it later. Like, did they ever say Naya moved to
Maybe she's with Stanford at that monastery.
Yes,
You know,
that's true. They're
maybe
both
she's a
monks
monk.
now. Well, and so it was just thing after thing after thing, right? And people were just like, "What is this?" Carrie broke her hip or needed a hip surgery,
Right.
and all these things. It's like, well, how old are these women supposed to be? None of these issues really feel like issues of women of that age.
They skipped the pause.
Yeah, no one talks about menopause on the show. They don't
Only
mention
Samantha
it
did.
once. Only Samantha, but that was only because she went into it early because of having breast cancer.
Yeah.
But these women should firmly be in perimenopause, if not full-blown menopause at this point. And they all started off with like grayish hair, or at least Miranda and Carrie both had grayer hair, and then they dyed it. And so I feel like they didn't spend enough time before they decided to reboot it as to thinking, so what do people want and what's actually happening in a way that it feels authentic and still fun.
Now, that goes back to what you said earlier. They had a bunch of white, middle-aged, rich writers in the room. And it's obvious because everything is told from a white, rich, gay guy's idea of the perspective of a white woman. So how are you going to be authentic when you're not even authentic? Like, at least get some rich white women in there to write. But I've said this forever. Their treatment of gays is weird. It always has been on the show, and it's just gotten more weird. And I have to bring this up. So in this episode, last week's episode, this week's episode, because I was so shocked. I'm still in shock. So these two dudes are going at it. And at first, I'm like,
last week.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, wow, Seema is already having sex and the show, just started. Then I realized it wasn't, it was two dudes and not Seema in her latest, because she is manly. And I don't need to see her. Yeah, I really thought that Seema was having sex again. And it turns out it's Anthony and his no way he ever could get him boyfriend. And so Anthony has a good butt, though. Yeah, Anthony has a butt. I'm a little surprised. I don't want to admit it, but yeah, Anthony has a butt. But the point is, the gratuitous sex in the show is cringy. It was icky. And then Seema's, when she finally was having sex with another dude, that was cringy.
What was with all the underarm licking?
That's
Like,
a thing.
the whole thing, and why there were multiple episodes and we're still talking about the deodorant and the underarm looking like that was not something like if in the original Sex in the City, if it was brought up, it would have been brought up for like one sit down conversation in the cafe or whatever.
Right.
And then it would have been done. We would not still be talking about it.
That goes back to, I think there's some gay fetishes going on. I think this show is, how do you put it? I'm a card carrying gay. But I think this show has been ruined by the gays because it doesn't know how to deal with women. And it only,
How come the gays can't get the gays right?
because of gaysism. Gaysism is the kind of guy who weekends in the Hamptons, who only sees other gays like themselves, especially economically speaking. I really feel like the writings, as we go into the Gilded Age, we will see what good writing and diversity does. And I just feel like this show fails. Why is the writing so bad? What's your opinion?
Because the writers don't care. I don't know. I feel like on one hand, I feel like they thought they could give us anything and not even have to try hard because it was Sex in the City and it was what it was. They must not hire good writers. They must not pay well. Like I don't know that that's true or not, but it feels like, because there are obviously great television writers out there.
Yeah.
But you're also you're not diversifying with the writers, because a Black writer can still write white characters or gay characters or straight characters or whatever. Every writer doesn't have to look like who they write for, but you have to have the input. So my question would be, how much input can other folks give? Or is it really like run by one or two people and then they do all of this work and no one else is able to put in their input? Because that's what it feels like. So it could be where other people are giving advice and they're just not taking it. But I don't know, because towards the end, now that they've announced that it's done, which put a pin in that, the way that announcement was made, they made it seem like it was always going to end here.
It was not.
And it's like, no, y'all got canceled.
Somebody on that show.
We're done.
Yeah, they either got canceled or somebody on the show, Sarah Jessica Parker, said, I'm done, because it's not going anywhere. You know what it reminds me of in the beginning, when they created the show during Black Lives Matter. And I think, and during all that trans stuff, like that Dilvin Mulvaney or whatever her name was. And they were right before that happened, because before the white lash happened. And I think that they weren't authentic. Remember, I asked you several times during Black Lives Matter, I said, is this real or is it just going to get snatched back later? And you were like, I think it's real. We were talking specifically about Black women. And I do believe that the one group that has survived Black Lives Matter is Black women. I think that something, arose and stayed arisen. But all the storylines, the woke storylines, and I use that in the pejorative, they all seem so target Pride Month. And as soon as we don't have to, we're going to take it back. They remind me of, you see old newsreels of Wallis Simpson, the Duchess of Windsor, doing the twist. Like, oh, the kids are doing this, so come on, baby, let's do the twist.
And she was a Nazi sympathizer.
Right. Which, a lot of these gay people in Hollywood are. So I think that they were trying to make sure they were of the time, but they should have just done the story of the ladies instead of they were doing too much.
The fact that they were never intersectional before, you don't have to make them intersectional now, because
right.
I watched them before and it didn't really bother me, because some people just don't hang out with other people.
It's like watching Friends. It doesn't really bother you.
Well, I never did that, but that's really? Why I didn't. No, Friends didn't do anything for me. And I think if I was going to watch Friends, it might have bothered. I knew that was going to bother me for some reason. And with Sex and the City, it just didn't, because that's just who they were, right? And so, and maybe because I had already built a relationship with Sex and the City.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's
whereas
true.
Friends, and I'm just like, are y'all just sleeping together? Like, what's happening? Yeah.
Well, when Friends decided to diversify and they brought on Aisha Tyler,
Tyler.
yeah, that was very natural. And there was a few, very few, now that I think about it, awkward but totally appropriate jokes to acknowledge the fact that a Black person was in the room without dwelling on it. And then it just was never mentioned again. Whereas, and just like that, kept mentioning it. There were Che's horrible comedy shows. Horrible. She's the worst comedian on earth. And just, there's so many bad, selfish characters in this show as well. Like, I never noticed how selfish the characters were in Sex and the City. And the selfishness, every single character is selfish, maybe except for Charlotte, who I think has evolved the most naturally. But a lot of people are hating on Charlotte now.
It's the Botox.
Her doctor should have a credited screen role, because you cannot see anything without seeing him acting right beside her. I don't understand this. Girl, I know you got Lindsay Lohan's phone number. Call her up and say, doctor's name. And also, did you notice this episode? I think Sarah Jessica Parker went to Dr. Feelgood, because all of a sudden she wasn't so crow looking. She didn't look so, like, her hair was good. Her
hair did look good.
Yeah, and her outfits weren't stupid.
I kept trying to figure out how it all could just stay to that one side. Like, it literally just stays to the left.
Yeah. See, we used to use hairspray Aquanet back in the day.
Right, but something like hers she's walking and this part just stays where it is.
Yeah. What did you think of the fashion this episode, or did you think anything of it?
I didn't like the Thanksgiving outfit that she wore, that Carrie wore. I guess it wasn't technically Thanksgiving, when she went back to her apartment.
Oh.
So when she went back to her apartment, besides the purse, because that purse is fly, it's a Coach purse.
Is Coach okay?
Coach is great.
Okay. I didn't know.
Coach
it just seems like a mall brand to me. No?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore. No.
See, I'm not
Coach has changed. Coach has been around since the 40s.
Right.
And it's gone up and down. And then there was a good amount of time that Coach looked like trash, and it looked like it belonged in TJ Maxx. And now Coach has stepped its game up to, in the past 3, maybe 4 years for me. I don't know. Somewhere around where all of a sudden I started noticing Coach again. And I was like, oh, hold on now. What are you doing? And so now they take my money. So I fan of Coach.
All right.
Sponsor me, please. There's like 2 more Empire bags and a tabby that I'm interested in. But as far as the fashions go, I think I like them because it was also fall. And I love fall fashion. So everything, the outfits that Miranda and Charlotte had on,
always dressed correctly, I feel.
Yes, she is. Always. And so I like her layers. I like the colors. All of that was good. Lisa did not have on giant balls around her neck as she normally does.
She still reminded me of John Wayne Gacy painting a picture before he murdered a stolen child. Like,
I think, though, they are always trying to bring like her ethnicity into it. Everything has to have a little bit of an African flair to it or something. And so that's what they're going for. And I don't mind big chunky necklaces sometimes, but you're telling me in every episode that she's wearing giant necklaces while she's at work trying to work. Right. It's just, Carrie in that giant hat earlier. It looked like a mushroom on her head. It was like that. I was like, how did she even keep it up on her head in the first place?
That was the most obvious attempt at cultural appropriation that we're going to make look hip. It was a bonnet. It was an oversized bonnet. And I hate bonnets. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, is that what we're doing now? Is that what we're doing? We're now making bonnets okay for white women? No, do not steal that from us. Matter of fact, take it and make it a white thing so Black women will stop wearing bonnets in public. Okay, that's my rant. You saw I sent you that text about how I hate bonnets.
I did. It was very random.
It was random, but I just saw someone in one and I just wanted to pull over and go, stop it. Stop it. Not outside. Ugh. Anyway.
What I will say though, and what I won't miss is whatever they were trying to do with Lisa and her co-worker, her editor
yeah,
for the
he's
documentary. Gone. And so no, he wasn't in last week's episode. I mean, there's nothing else for him to do, right? And I'm not swooning over him. I'm not saying he's not an ugly man, but I'm not swooning over him. And the part about all of that really like irritated me was that fine, have a work crush, but they had her so like flustered and flabbergasted. And like, to me, that's just not true to who she's supposed to be. If she's supposed to be this hardworking, like kick-ass documentarian and executive producer and all of this, and she's trying to get this thing made that has been her baby for a number of years. And then he says, hey, I can get the folks, we're going to be in the room with the folks who created the Obama documentary. So let's go and talk to them. And then she's like, I don't know if I should go because I have feelings for this man that I keep thinking about him. No, you would put that to the side no matter what and go what you do. But then she went and then you left early. They made her seem like a flighty woman who is not about her business, because you can have sex fantasies about a man and still get your job done. Come on now.
And he, again, let's go back to the sexability factor. He's not that hot. Like, I would have been more.
He needs a beard.
Don't ever not have facial hair around Erica. He is no Michael B. Jordan. I would have been more comfortable with Lisa having those work crush feelings on another woman, to be honest. That to me would have been more believable.
So, Patty LuPone, who has not had good press.
Explain why.
Year, because she's a biatch.
But explain why. Why did she cross the tracks?
She did an interview. Patty LuPone, who is a well-known Broadway star and TV actress and done movies too, I think, did an interview. I want to say it was with Vanity Fair or Vogue, I don't know, and talked about other actresses. And she talked specifically about two different Black actresses, critiquing them in a very negative way. One is the lead from Hell's Kitchen, which is the Alicia Keys Broadway show. And then the other was Audra McDonald, who is don't say a word bad about Audra McDonald in the theater world. Don't say it in front of me. Don't say it in front of anybody who loves Broadway. She has won more Tonys than anybody.
I never had a bad word spoken about her by anyone.
Right. And no, I've never heard anybody. And she's like, well, we're not friends or whatever. Like, okay, girl, then we're not friends. Like, whatever her reason was for being nasty. So then that started an online firestorm because people were like, hey, hold on. Like, what's your problem? And this isn't the first time. I remember a couple years ago, she was saying some negative things. And they were like, she should be canceled. And she's like, I say what I want. If I remember correctly, she left the stage or something. And then she said she wasn't going to do Broadway anymore because it was BS. Like she had some sort of meltdown hissy fit.
Yeah.
So people were calling her out. And then she half apologized for it. This is not what I meant.
One quarter. So like,
she had mentioned something about too much screeching, and how
that was it. She was talking about how the play next door, which was the Black girls' play,
Hell's Kitchen,
was too loud. And it was like, ooh.
Right. She was saying her voice. Yeah, it was too loud. So she was doing one of those. So anyway, there was a lot of people who were just like, Patty LuPone needs to sit her butt down. Like, you're doing too much. Right. And so next thing you know, she's on Just Like That. Now, mind you, we know these have already been filmed. So before the big hoopla. But when she came on, just like some other folks were guest stars this season, I'll say I was not expecting her to do multiple episodes. So I was like, ew, why is she still here? And so And she wasn't nice on the show because she wasn't meant to be, she didn't want her son to be going out with some old man, which is what she called Anthony. And then
Which
she
is
had
why I
some
had
real
so much hope for her.
and then she had like this meltdown when they had dinner together in his apartment and thrust all the food on the floor. And then what's his name? Giuseppe walks in and she's holding a knife and like it was,
A
she wasn't
butter
trying to kill
knife
him.
at that.
But either way, she's holding this knife and then
Yeah.
she leaves and she tells him that she's cutting him off from the villas and all that. So I thought maybe she was the one paying for his apartment. And that would have made more sense to be like, hey, I'll move in with you
Right.
because my mom has cut me off from whatever money I have and whatever villas. Because it doesn't sound like he can't make that much money in the first place, right? Working at the bread place. But then again, you're going to leave your roommate who just works at Whole Foods doing the
Right.
night shift. And so now he's got to deal with
Which
that.
is
And you can imagine
so
apartment prices.
New York to just be like, my furniture's being out tomorrow. That's so New York. And the other person is left scrambling and ends up with like, Patty LuPone as a roommate. Like just some crazy out of control person as a roommate. That's so New York. But again, I had hoped that she'd stick around and break that up because I just loathe Anthony. I just do. And even his, who's that bitch? And he's so jealous and he's so stereotypical. And it just goes back to nobody with no money, because he evidently ain't got none, judging by his apartment. Nobody with
Why does he have the worst apartment out of all of them?
And
So
if
he
he
just
was with
hangs around a bunch of rich ladies, but he has
he's a
nothing.
poodle. He's a mean little poodle. And he's their poodle. He's Charlotte's poodle. It's as simple as that. He's the worst kind of gay stereotype. And there's no way he would have Giuseppe in the real world without money.
You're listening to
Sticky Note Conversations with Erica Washington.
So any predictions for this final episode?
Well, the way they were trying to wrap everything up, like
Everybody's going to be happy.
Well, okay, so Harry needs to die, I think. I just think Harry needs to die. They need some reason to come together.
Carrie,
I see Harry as being the one. Why would you get a girl pregnant at the end of the show?
That was the best scene.
Yeah,
so Steve, which they didn't use Steve enough. They made him like old and hard of hearing and ridiculous. Yeah. But that scene at the table when Brady says, "Hey,
Tell
Mom,
who
Dad,"
Brady is, just for those two straight guys.
Miranda, main character on the show, was married to Steve. They had Brady. We've watched Brady from the time he was conceived
and
on up to him being
kid,
20.
Do you think? Because it looks like the same baby.
That baby looks like this adult. Yes, yeah. It really does. And so Brady is 20 now and working at the bar full time. And so he decided, I want to go back to school to be a chef. And so Miranda and Steve are happy. They are excited. They're like, oh, this is great. Like, yes, go do this. We'll pay for it. We want you to, find your way. And he's like, oh, but I have something else to tell you. I got some random hookup girl pregnant. I don't even know her last name, but it's fine. She doesn't really want me in the kid's life or whatever. So it's kind of like whatever. And so Steve is like, I'm sorry, what? Like, he is like, I don't understand why you think that this is okay. And he's like, let me tell you that this is not okay, that it's hard. You're going to ruin your life.
No, you have ruined your life.
And Brady's like, this is not about you and Mom and what happened with y'all. And he was like, no, because I loved your mother and I knew her last name, right? Like, this was not that. And then Brady says something else and he shrugs his shoulders.
He kept shrugging his shoulders like,
And he was like, shrug your shoulders one more time and I will lay you out. I was like,
And then Brady
right
jumps
there.
up like a little Generation Z who's never had to face any responsibility and has buzzwords for everything and jumps up and says, "Oh, I'm leaving because of the verbally abusive parent." Boy, get your ass back in this room.
And potentially physically violent.
Right.
Like, sit down.
Your narrow ass down.
I was like, this was the only parenting throughout all seasons of the show, because Charlotte let those kids run all over her. She just tiptoed around whatever it is they were doing. Even when Lily and Brady were hooking up, they really didn't say anything. Like, you're just like, they were just like doing it in
Charlotte
the
went
house
out in a snowstorm
to buy condoms for your kid.
Right. In a cute
Girl.
coat. Yeah.
I don't know why none of them know about Instacart. I just don't understand, because she really could have got Harry's diapers via Instacart too. Like, I don't know. She's like, I came all the way down to the south side of the city, so no one could see
below
me.
76th Street.
And I'm like, Amazon can also deliver them in a regular box that nobody would know what's in there if that's the case. I don't even think the kids know that Harry had cancer. Like, they never show him telling the kids.
And when Charlotte had her vertigo, Valipsio, whatever, the kids were supposed to be taking care of them, but why were they taking care of Harry?
Yeah.
Like, what was the point?
When was that scene that we told the kids that the kids felt any kind of way, which makes me think, when they're like, well, the kids promised they take care of us and then they left us and they haven't done anything, which tells me you probably didn't tell them, because I cannot imagine that any kid would be like, hey, Dad, what do you need? What could you do? How could I do?
Kids? They have the two worst children on the planet. And let's talk about the children real quick. Again, let's go back to who runs the place. Neil Patrick Johnson Harris. They don't have children, and so I don't have children, but I got your kids. So I mean, I know what parenting looks like weird new age parenting where the kids come out all right, but they talk to each other. It's weird, but anyway, they don't have kids, and they don't have anyone around them who has they don't have a you in their life who has good relationships with their kids. They don't know anybody like that, because all of their friends who do have kids are bitter Park Avenue types who sit around drunk all day and don't know how to manage their children. So Brady's always been a jerk. Miranda's to Lily is just...
she's a spoiled princess.
Yeah, she's a princess. And then Mac or Zach or whatever her name is, she starts out as this non-binary, call me, Billy Bob. That's it. She starts out that way. All of a sudden, Charlotte through this whole thing has been so supportive and so, call her Jack, whatever. Then the second that she puts on a dress for the school play, all of a sudden Charlotte is beaming. And it's like, so here we are at the end of the show where you have been so much like Black Lives Matter and corporations. You have been so supportive when you were supposed to be. Now that you don't have to be, all of a sudden you're turning her into a cute, traditional girl.
I don't think that's what happened there.
You don't?
Mm-mm. I think that Rock is whoever Rock is, and whatever they're trying to figure out how they identify. But they are doing this play, and in the play you're playing thoroughly modern Millie. So you're playing Millie, who is a girl and a flapper. So you have to wear this dress, and so she's putting it on. And although we don't ever really see how Rock feels in this dress, except for to say that the wig is itchy and whatever, but they didn't seem to care one way or the other.
No,
but what Charlotte saw was her little girl who she missed, because Rock is always wearing, very gender neutral, baggy clothes and sort of looks homeless and not real clean all the time. And so
she reminds me of Billie Eilish, yeah.
And Charlotte is very girly. Charlotte is a girly girl. She's a very feminine woman, wears ruffles and polka dots and pussy bows and heels all the time. And so you see your child in this outfit that you don't expect to ever see them in. For Charlotte, it's a mourning process. I think she's mourning the little girl that she wanted or thought she wanted and thought she would have. And seeing her that way made her long for that, but knowing that that's not reality and she can't sit in it is why I think they showed it and then showed her delete the picture.
Question for you. So we've been talking now about everything, but let's go back to the one person we really haven't discussed is Carrie. I was very disappointed last week when Carrie boned the English writer guy. And I'll tell you why. Carrie does not seem to be able to accept the fact that she is a woman of substance, a person of substance that doesn't need a man, that doesn't need a man inside of her. She was so proud of the fact that a guy finally respected her for her work, her brain, her art, her writing, everything. And she was like, she had an opportunity when he made the move on her to say, you know what? I'm not going to screw you because I'm so proud of myself. And I'm thankful to you for treating me like a fellow writer. You're a world famous writer and you treated me in a respectful manner. And then she goes and rewards him by sleeping with him. That's how I saw it. That's what you got out of it? That's how I got out of it.
Well, You're such a man.
I keep telling you that.
and I just don't ever want to believe it. I always want to think better of you.
I'm a dude.
Oh my goodness. So let me tell you what I saw from that. I didn't even start to find him even remotely attractive until towards the end. When he first started, I was just like, he's a grumpy old troll living under the bridge.
Who smells like smoke.
Right. Who smells like smoke. But when Carrie said that and said, he thinks I'm intelligent, that is sexy. For someone to see you as smart and be interested in your mind and what your thoughts are and, want your help on the work that they're doing that's super smart and outside of her realm, because Margaret Thatcher is way outside of her realm, right? And that he also seemed to really like the fact that she was girly when he went into her closet and saw all her cute shoes and stuff like that. And he didn't really know who she was, right? Yeah. He didn't know that she was a socialite of New York City and that so many people know who she is, right? And so I think her attraction to him came from his attraction to her mind. And she's like, I've never had that before. People see all this other stuff and he saw something different. So sleeping with him wasn't giving him anything. It was her getting something. She got the satisfaction of sleeping with someone who wasn't just about her body or how she looked or her being sexy. We're having an intellectual chemistry here. So to end, because where are they going? And just like that, where are they going? How will it wrap up?
Let's go character by character. Start.
Charlotte. I think Charlotte and Harry, they just live happily ever after. Yeah. I just think that I don't think there's anything, honestly, that happens there.
She has become my actual favorite character of the whole show. And I know a lot of people think she's clowning, but I really like her. I understand her. I think she achieved her perfect dream.
Yeah, she got what she wanted. She is living in her penthouse over Central Park. She's got the kids. She's got the husband. She's Jewish now.
Right. She works in a gallery.
I think that Miranda, I don't think her and that lady last. I think they break up. Because she seems real timid. And when her and Brady were going back and forth, the way she picked up her dogs, my dog shouldn't be hearing this
Right.
argument. And I was just like, girl, calm down.
This is too
Right.
American for me. All this loudness and
Yeah. And the fact that Miranda has been with Steve, and Steve is from Queens, and Queens, he's loud and, all of that, and a little rough around the edges. And so I think that doesn't last at all. Plus, it was the whole thing about the gin was real weird to me.
Yeah.
She's probably low-key an alcoholic too.
And then Brady getting the girl pregnant. Y'all knew the show was ending. So why you go get an ugly girl pregnant? That just doesn't make any sense.
I mean, he's going to have a baby, and they're going to make him step up, and they're going to, force the fact that this kid is in our lives, and you don't get to be that.
He's got to get married, and she's got to have the baby in the next episode.
I don't know if they have to get married. They don't have to get married, but he has to be a dad. Steve and Miranda are not going to allow him to just be like, oh, well, she don't want nothing to do with me. So that's what I think. I mean, I don't know why I'm low key wanting like Miranda and Steve to get back together.
Oh,
like,
yeah, absolutely.
I really do want Miranda and Steve to get back together. Maybe she could just have a side piece or something if she really needs some lady love.
She's the type that would suggest a three-way. Steve would say, okay, and then she'd have a freak out about it.
She would.
Yeah.
Or just have an open marriage. I don't know. But Steve, and the side thing is Steve still has the bar, but Aiden and Steve don't talk anymore. Like, how come there were no scenes with Aiden and Steve? That was weird to me.
They were besties.
Yeah. They were business partners.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Okay. Seema.
Carrie. Oh, see, I don't know. I don't know. I don't care actually what happens to Seema. She's gonna keep getting her underarms licked by that man. And that's what's gonna happen. And they're gonna live happily ever after. And he's just gonna learn to like zinc deodorant because she's not gonna switch over.
I think that Seema is almost like the anti-Che in the sense that she's a handsome woman, and she's colored. I think her and Carrie have a really good chemistry. Like when they went out to have drinks, I think they have a great chemistry. But I think the show is constantly looking for they
didn't develop their friendship well to me.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the show is constantly looking for Samantha. But I will say this. When Seema tried to explain to Carrie why she should buy the whole house, I think that did bring up a lot of where the show is going to wrap up, in the sense that, is Carrie going to accept the fact that she's going to be alone, and it's okay to be alone, and it's okay to put furniture in your alone house, and it's okay to leave your alone apartment and let it evolve? So I thought Seema was real good at saying, what's your point? Just like the girl was real good about, aren't you afraid of being alone? And I think Seema was like, alone is a business investment. Does that make sense?
It does. I think that, I'm a person who loves being alone, and alone in a big house. So I'm like, yes. And then, and yes, get another tenant down there and make some money off of it.
And eventually screw them too.
You don't have to do all that, but you do have to. But she could make some money off of it. Not that she needs any money, but it to me it just makes sense. Or she turns it into where she keeps her furs in the winter. I don't know.
She could turn it into an exact replica of her old apartment and just be weird like that.
Yes, and that could be her office down
weird
here.
Like that.
That's the next version.
Right. Okay.
But,
do you think,
or get a maid, and with the maid down there, because you can't tell me Carrie's cleaning that place.
No.
But you never see her have any sort of help except for the gardener to come in. But he only came in to design, and he barely did anything.
Right. He just cleared out some brush. My dude does more than that.
Mine too.
So, do you think that in 5 years' time, we will have all forgotten about how we hate watch this show? Wait, put a pin in that, as they say in activism. I want to come back to, you sent me a text about Golden Age. And I think that what's it called?
The Gilded Age. The Gilded Age. It's not the Golden Girls.
Whatever. Right. I'm gay. So I think you sent a text. It's on, meaning the Gilded Age. Exclamation point, exclamation point. I think that both of these shows, and this is maybe how we can segue. I think both of these
into the
shows,
3-hour podcast.
right? Break it up. It's still more interesting than that Gilded Age podcast.
Oh, that's so awful. But and then just like that podcast is
Yeah.
just as bad. Anyway, go ahead.
So when I was a little kid, my grandmother used to, if we were sitting there watching her stories, probably all my children are General Hospital. If a commercial came on and a black girl was in it, she'd go, Derrick, go tell Gloria Color Girls on Channel 9. My little tubby butt would run up from the first floor where my grandmother lived to the third floor where Gloria lived. Gloria, turn to Channel 9. There's a color girl on Channel 9. And Gloria would go, I'm already watching it. It was real a point. In the 80s, we had shows
this was before telephones.
No, it was not. But telephones took a minute. You had to dial in. You had to do all these things. So you couldn't screenshot it to be like and send a picture. So in the 80s, we had Dynasty. We had cliffhangers. We don't have that anymore. But these shows are that. Like, I only watch them on Sunday so I can watch both together. And then that has not been the case for the last, let's say 15 years for sure, when streaming really got popular. Did you feel that that's part of the reason you watched the show? Is because it was episodic and,
Well, and just like that, it became a hate watch.
Yeah.
Like,
but you look forward to that hate watch.
I did. And somebody said on social media, I just saw this morning, they're like, oh God, I hate this show so much. I wish it came on every day.
Right. I didn't realize how much I hated it until they said it was going to get canceled.
And I was like, well,
no.
what do I do now? Right. And it's like, we didn't really want to go off. We wanted it to get better. And it felt like it was starting to get better at the end. And when they weren't trying as hard, and if they really would have just fleshed out the newer characters better, and you got a little bit more backstory, that would have helped so much. And because there were things about Carrie being in that big house that made a lot of sense to me. Like, it was a beautiful townhouse and it was so empty. Like, she didn't put any effort into decorating it. It's like she kept waiting. She was always waiting for something. She was waiting for Aiden. She was waiting for life to begin. And I felt like the symbolism there was something to really think about. And the only place that she really spent any time was her room and her office. Her office had stuff in it and it was well decorated. And I could really resonate with that. And especially the fact that she was still mourning Big. I wish they would have spent more time, even her talking about Big and what she missed or anything like that, because she moved like 3 times, on a Just Like That, because she couldn't get settled. Like, these are deeper layers that they really could have spent some time on. So,
for instance, the first place she moved to, if you remember, was that glass box in the sky.
Yeah.
Which was just not her. Like, it was too light. It was too airy.
It was too modern.
Yeah.
It was modern.
Yeah, and that's
like
not her.
I couldn't live there.
And then she then she went back to her apartment, right?
Yeah.
And that didn't work. And so she's like the Goldilocks of real estate. And I think she's finally in a place that works. And I understand her not wanting to be in the place Big got for her because memories. But I think that she was comfortable there. I think that it fit her. And now I think this place could fit her. Because if she wants it to fit her, she could certainly make it fit her. And I think that she started to put furniture in it. And so when the girl who bought her apartment, when she said, are you afraid or whatever? She's like, no, I'm an alarm system. Because I don't think it was about safety. I think that's why she said she had a roommate and she that was like there, and they built walls there. So she wouldn't have to come home to an empty place. So worst come to worst, she can knock on that door, go hang out with him or whatever. Like, some people just need some sort of like connection like that all the time. So last family, Lisa and her family. I thought they should have a spinoff. Now I don't care. We didn't get to know their children well enough. Like, I feel like I don't even remember the kids' names. And the little boy is talented. Yeah. When they had the future homo come on and do his little Broadway things, I thought, okay. He's so cute. Yeah. He's adorable. They didn't even show him on stage because he was supposed to be a part of the cast. Why I was expecting him to come out. They made a point to say he's the lead.
Right.
And
This
the older
goes back
one
to
with
the
his
writing.
nobody affectations, I thought
Right.
that could lead somewhere to talk about how Black generational wealth will always get stuck at the snow bunny gate.
Or they could have messed around with one of Charlotte's kids too, and then they would have been like, "Oh, but we're okay with it." I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, he could have gotten
Because
Lily
Charlotte
pregnant.
never experimented on Sex in the City. I don't think she ever dated a Black dude or even a light skin,
Mm-mm.
nobody,
Mm-mm.
or a Mexican or anything.
Mm-mm.
She like clean cut white dudes.
Yeah, because Blair Underwood, didn't he do Samantha or Miranda?
No, that
Miranda.
was Miranda. But no, actually, I don't. I feel like the husband's gonna kill himself. That's what I feel like, he's gonna piss
Yeah,
himself.
yeah. All of a
Because I feel
sudden,
like,
dude, you
and I'm
lost
a
an
big fan of
election.
him
Yeah,
from Hamilton.
yeah. I think he's so cute and sexy.
He's
But
adorable.
yeah, but this you lost an election for comptroller, like, and you're gonna be crunchy about it. Like, it just made no sense. I lost an election for city council, and I was
It wasn't.
drinking that night.
It was comptroller.
Yeah,
Like,
comptroller, comp.
I've never seen anybody get so much attention about a comptroller
You know,
race.
Debbie Conway has been our comptroller for like the last 82 years, and she just does her job. She goes to work, and
And nobody thinks about
right. She runs
that.
unopposed. It's not like, and then the way they have to
I don't know
keep-
why they didn't have him run for city council or
right,
something that
something
made
important.
sense.
Not Debbie Conway. If you're watching this, I did
The
not say your
mayor.
job is not important.
Her job is very important.
Very important. But I'm saying, yeah, for that show, it just didn't make any sense. So, all right, let's stay in New York, but let's go in the Wayback Machine.
So, this episode of Sticky Note Conversations is all about And Just Like That. And we just kind of broke down the entire series. And now that it's ending, I think we're both a little sad because we expected more, we wanted more, and it felt like it was just starting to get good. And now it's done. And I don't know that there will be any real wrap up that
Closure.
anybody, no, I don't think anyone's going to be happy with how it ends. But it does feel like they are trying to come up with some happier endings for people. I think ultimately, from Carrie, my hope is she stays in that house and that she writes her book and continues on and writes more novels and finally really mourns the death of her husband and finds someone who appreciates her brain as much as any other part of her. And she has a happy ending, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's with no man's. And I think that that's okay too. She doesn't have, I was hoping for, and I think we will get an ending where she doesn't run off into the sunset with a man, that she doesn't go off to London to go follow him, because that would piss me off. So my hope is that the bottom line is that between Sex and the City and then Just Like That, that these women, that they're happy, a happy ending can look 5 different ways. It can look so many different ways and they could all be great. And if her happy ending is being alone, but becoming, even better, a writer and being able to wear her fashions and wear heels until she's 80, more power to her.
Last question for you. What is the last shot of the series? Not scene. What's the last shot?
Carrie in her heels walking down the street with her hair flouncing. It's either that or she's in the window writing.
I hadn't thought about that. I think it's either she's in the
working
window.
on her next. She's on her next novel.
I think she's either in the window writing or she is giving a homage to an iconic outfit. I think the tutu has to make some sort of return.
Oh God.
Because I think she's got to reference something iconic. Because she started like that. This show started like that, didn't it? If I remember,
she started she started a tutu. Like, I mean, maybe her face is on a bus going down the street.
Right. I think it's something like that, or she gets splashed by water or something. But yeah. But
like she's too old for tutus and being splashed by water.
Is she though?
She just broke a hip. She needs Calm down.
Oh my God.
Thanks for listening to Sticky Note Conversations with Erica Washington. Hosted and executively produced by Erica Washington. With editing by Black Gypsy LLC and Simone Endres. Special thanks to KUNV 91.5 in Las Vegas. This show is powered by Make It Work Nevada, a project of Tides Advocacy.
And a special thank you to Grove GT Teague and Eno Savad, who made our new theme song, Way Below Acceptable.